Remember The Athletic? The Athletic came on the scene, charging a subscription for stuff that you can get free online. Now, when you do that, you have to come with added value. You have to bring something different to the table. And The Athletic delivered. They were a bastion of genuine, real journalism. Journalism that you could trust, journalism that you could rely on, long-form stories. They would send a guy on a 4-day trip to interview a blind football maker in Peru. And you would read that article because they cared about stories. But The Athletic in recent years has changed. And over the last couple of months, it's been increasingly obvious that The Athletic are turning into the talk sport, sport Bible, sensational headline stuff. And if we have to paint an example of how far The Athletic has fallen, last week they ran an agent survey piece. Now, when you go to The Athletic, they have got analysts who work there. And I mean analysts that work there. When they frame a headline up and tell you this is the worst signing in the Premier League this season, because it's The Athletic, you expect there to be some evidence, some data. They've polled 20 agents who have got their own vested interests in certain things. They might have vested interest in some of those transfers that have happened. They might have vested interest in some of the clubs that are represented. You might as well have gone asked 20 people outside Greg's in Piccadilly, Manchester. It's an opinion piece from people that are not necessarily qualified to be giving that opinion in a neutral sort of setting, which is what you expect from The Athletic. Now, the article's title was From the Best and Worst Deals to Selecting Champions and Relegation, right? What? That doesn't say, hey, we just asked 20 blokes who they think the worst one out of all their mates and people that they don't know is. But the headline that they went with, Benjamin Sesko is the worst signing of the summer. Benjamin Sesko, labelled as a flop then. And obviously because The Athletic produced something like this, spreads like wildfire. Everyone shares it. It's very shareable context, the way it's been written up, blah, 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 blah. Think about how absurd that is. This is based on a limited poll of agents. 20 people. You can get that many people in a room. The Athletic presented it like it was detailed, truthful analysis. Never mind that much bigger transfers had far more question marks over them, or the fact that Manchester City's James Trafford is signed and replaced in the same transfer window, or Liverpool have dropped nearly 300 million on a pair of signings that haven't yet scored a goal for them, or you've got Jadon Sancho, the hilarity that ensues with him at Aston Villa, or Garnacho absolutely stinking the gaff out at Chelsea. No, the worst deal is Benjamin Sesko. Why? Because it's Manchester. Not only was he like top of like a really close list, no, it was like Benjamin Sesko and then nobody else and then a couple of people that had been voted once. Worst signing because literally 6 agents decided that he was the worst signing. Blatant rage bait aimed at Manchester United fans, plain and simple. No nuance, no context, just a spicy headline to get clicks and spread negativity around Manchester United. And the contrast in coverage is what's the most stark thing about this. The Athletic ran a sympathetic feature about Liverpool players. They're having a slow start to the season. Oh, why are we using the 007 insult? What is it? And why it's unfair to judge new players? What? All these fluff pieces trying to defend this massive money signing that haven't scored a goal or assist, meanwhile can't wait to tell the world that Benjamin Sesko, who is scoring, that he is the worst signing of the summer. The Florian Wirtz one is hilarious because you're even comparing him to Thierry Henry in the article. Now, we did this for Wibble Watch a couple of weeks ago when it came out, but the fact that you're trying to suggest Thierry Henry didn't score in his first few games, and therefore Florian Wirtz is going to score that many goals. No, not even closely related. For starters, Thierry Henry came from Juventus where he was largely considered as someone that had failed. He didn't come for a massive fee. He certainly wasn't the league's record signing at the time. You're literally comparing apples and bananas. There is nothing even close to being comparative about this. The whole, even Legend started a bit slow, maybe don't be mean to him. Plays for Liverpool, By the way, joined the team that are champions, not the team that's going through like its worst period ever. When it's Liverpool, you get context, you get understanding, you get patience. This is a team in transition, the pundits are saying. When it's Manchester United, you get crisis, panic, worst signing ever. No benefit of the doubt, no patience, just sling the mud. And, by the way, just factually incorrect that he's the worst signing of the summer. That's not analysis. And that's not what The Athletic was built on. It's rage fuel content that you would expect from idiots on Twitter, not from a site that charges for quality journalism, which is what they bill it as. This isn't just another pretty face. The Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra is built to handle your most sensitive areas with care, helping reduce the risk of nicks, cuts, and irritation where it matters the most. Whether you're cleaning things up for a date, a trip, or just to feel a little bit more put together, the White Hot trimmer makes below-the-waist grooming a whole lot smoother, with a clean white and gold finish that looks just as good as it shaves. Join over 12 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and use the code Howson, that's HOWSON, for 15% off your entire order at manscaped.com. Nobody enjoys the sting of a slip-up mid-trim, and that is why Manscaped's skin-safe technology was developed to help you groom with more confidence and fewer mishaps. The blades are designed to glide over the skin with less tug and pull, helping you avoid the usual redness or irritation that comes with lower quality trimmers. It is simple, it is effective, and it doesn't require a whole routine. Just pick it up, clean what you need, and move on with your life. Whether you're using it in the shower, on the go, or standing over the sink just before a night out, the White Hot 5.0 Ultra fits in your day without getting in the way. Plus, the white and gold design actually looks good, so you won't be hiding it in the bottom drawer anymore. White Hot looks, smooth results. The White Hot 5.0 Ultra brings the heat without cooking your skin. It is sleek, it is easy to use, and it's way less terrifying than whatever it was you was doing before. Use the code Howson, that is HOWSON, for 15% off your entire order at manscaped.com. That's 15% off with the code Howson at manscaped.com. Stay cool, stay smooth, and leave the burns to the sun. I mean, seriously, The Athletic did have the reputation for real, smart, in-depth coverage. And I know a handful of people who work for The Athletic, people I genuinely respect. And I'm not just talking about the Manchester United lot. I'm talking about, with Laurie and Andy Mitten and Carl Anker. I'm talking about David Ornstein. I'm talking about Ollie Kay. I'm talking about people that I think are really, really good. Now they're just misleading analysis. Let's look into some of this. The Athletic's YouTube channel put out a video recently that's had hundreds of thousands of views. Are Manchester United as bad as people think? JJ Bull is presenting it, a guy that's got a great reputation from another channel that's done fantastically well. Really genuinely good neutral analysis, which was from Tifo. You're expecting solid breakdown. You're expecting insight. Instead, you got lazy, misleading information. In that video, JJ confidently declares, and I am directly quoting him here, "I've watched every single one of Manchester United's shots and they keep shooting from absolutely stupid positions." He says when Manchester United have got sustained possession in the opponent's third, they tend to panic and rip shots from distance rather than work for better openings. And to illustrate this narrative, he shows a graphic highlighting how a chunk of our shots, 25%, have come from that area directly in front of the box. He calls that stupid positions to shoot from. The way that they've actually carved up the rest of the inside the box, there's literally more shots just in front when you break down the percentages from inside the box right in front of that zone. But if you're a United fan that just glances at that and isn't really paying attention, you're going to go, oh man, we're really bad at shot selection. And that's what he deliberately made it sound like. And he made it sound unique to us. He offered no comparison. He didn't put any other team's graphic up in that sort of sense. He just said United are taking long shots. Right, so the implication being that one of the major reasons that United are struggling is because we're not scoring goals because we're shooting from weird areas. And then what's even mental is he goes to say, and that's why they're showing a high XG. Mate, as an analyst, I expect you to be better than this. XG literally values how likely a shot is from where it's taken. Shots from outside the box are already single-digit XG, which means that there's like a less than 10% chance of them going in. So that's already accounted for in the XG calculation. Sort of acting like shooting from range is going to just magically clock up loads of XG. No, it literally does the opposite. Literally does the opposite. Every team takes long shots, and United are not even close to the worst offenders. About 32% of United's attempts this season, excluding the Liverpool game, because I wrote this literally as the game was on yesterday, have been from outside the box. Is it high? No. It's actually pretty average amongst the top teams. Manchester City is about 35%. Liverpool is 36%. Manchester City have got a higher share of shots from distance than we do. Chelsea are about the same as us. The only big six team that takes fewer shots from United is Arsenal and Spurs. Do you know what I mean? So the numbers According to the analysts, United are actually doing better than 4 other teams in the top 6 when it comes to not resorting to low percentage pot shots. 3rd best out of 6. Yet it's presented and literally called stupid by a so-called analyst. No mention, of course, that City and Liverpool are teams for lauded for their attacking play. They're pulling the trigger from range way more than we do. Where's the context? Why highlight that stat when it's literally painted out wrong in the manner that it was? It's either bias and it's deliberate, or it's a lack of basic research, neither of which reflects well on the Athletic's analytical standards. But then it gets worse, because he goes on to cherry pick specific examples that actually reinforce a misleading point. He pulls a clip of Sesko taking a shot against Brentford as evidence of United's bad shot locations. But then he has to actually acknowledge that the fact that it's inside the box. So it's not one of the low percentage outside the box efforts. So why on earth are we having an inside the box shot used to illustrate that United are shooting from range and outside the box? I watched it back and back and back to try and figure out what on earth he is talking about. It was almost like they decided that they were going to say something and then just try to find something that fit the narrative, even if the evidence that they're showing us contradicted the narrative. Next, he highlights a couple of shots by Cunha, and you're thinking, Cunha? Yeah. Cunha. Now, Cunha has a tendency to shoot from range. That's kind of what he does. He showed a couple of instances where Cunha has let fly from distance instead of playing a pass, and he's not wrong. In those isolated moments, he probably could have passed it. But he uses everything to imply that our attackers are doing this on a regular basis. But Cunha's the standout for that entire argument. Doesn't mention that Cunha is literally the only one doing that. He's a player that thrives on long shots. When he was at Wolves, he scored loads of times from outside the box. That's his style. He's not someone that gets into the 6-yard box to shoot. And guess what? Cunha is literally the only Manchester United forward that's having more percentage of his shots outside the box than he's having them inside the box. So singling him out and then extrapolating that generalisation to the rest of the team gives the false impression Manchester United are just shooting from anywhere. That's why they're winning on XG. Your assumption that you're getting extra XG points for shooting from range is just complete and utter bollocks. And also the fact that none of our other strikers or forwards, for that matter, are even shooting from outside the box. Then he pulls up Bruno Fernandes. And you're like, right, yep, okay, Bruno probably shoots from outside the box. Okay, fair play. This whole argument goes back to United having sustained possession and where we choose to shoot from in sustained possession. Bruno wins a ball against Chelsea by him pressing. He has not many places he can go, and he shoots from the edge of the box. He doesn't score. JJ then frames it by going, look, there's Bruno taking a long shot instead of making a pass. No context applied to where this came about. Bruno's literally taken the ball off Reece James and gone and had a quick shot. That's not slow build-up, settled possession, or anything of the sort of the things that you were talking about when you framed up this video. Bruno didn't really have a chance to be able to get his head up and make a pass, right? And I think sometimes Bruno can be a little bit giddy when it comes to shooting, but if that's your entire argument, there's no nuance there whatsoever. And I think that's unfair. The way the Athletic presented that, you would think that this was like a whole host of evidence of some tactical ineptitude. So after those cherry-picked wrong examples, what conclusion did the Athletic present to those hundreds of thousands of people who've watched it? That United's XG is higher, not because we create a great number of chances, but because we take so many shots, including a bunch of shots from poor locations. In other words, that our XG is inflated because of volume and not quality, which is literally what XG measures. Quality, not quantity. And the whole backing up of the thesis is that United's 3-4-3 isn't actually that good. It gets a lot of long shots. But the claim is false. You've got to look at the data. As I mentioned earlier, only 32% of United's shots from outside the box at that point of the season. Yes, long shots have lower XG values. How much of United's total XG do you reckon actually come from all of that? This, pre to Liverpool game, United had 13.99 XG. All of these long shots, the thing that this fucking idiot has made an entire video on, how much of our XG contributed to this claim that United are massively outstripping our XG because we take long shots. 1.46. Less than 10% of our expected goals come from the shots from outside the box, which means Manchester United are having 90% of our XG from higher quality chances. Well, fuck me. Any decent analyst is going to look at that and go, wow, United are doing a lot of things right because their chance creation is really good. And a lot of our goals are from in close areas that you would expect them to score from. Completely fucking undermines the idea that our XG is padded by some hopeful long shots and long range speculative efforts. The vast majority of Manchester United's XG came from shots in really good locations, which is exactly what you want from a well-structured attacking movement. We are just not finishing good chances. That's it. Now, what you do have to look at here is what's United's total XG per shot? Basically, what's the quality of chance that United are having on average, right? 0.13. That's per shot. It's the second highest in the league amongst the top clubs. Only Chelsea is better. That tells you that United are creating really good chances overall, not stupid long-range shots like your narrative doesn't suggest, literally tells people is happening. So, you completely remove all of United's outside the box, you strip out every long ranger, and guess what? Our XG per shot jumps up to 0.17. That puts us at the top of the league in that metric. Literally the best quality chances on average. So in a hypothetical world where none of our long range shot exists, the quality of chance, Manchester United are the very best. Which just reinforces the point. The team are making high quality chances and you fucking lied about it. Now the kicker is, even with the outside shots included, as I said, we're second. We're right near the top. Other big teams take as many or more long shots than we do. We're not gaming the XG system by shooting from range anymore. If anything, we're shooting a little bit less than some of our rivals. And here's the thing. Inside the box, United are second only to Arsenal in terms of the quality chance creation inside the box. Now, since he's made that video, ours is actually the best in the league. The glaring shortfall is in finishing. We have underperformed our XG by a significant margin. We have scored 7 fewer goals than we would have expected to in the league up until yesterday's game. That is a huge gap, and it aligns with what we're seeing. Forwards have been missing good chances. Shots have been getting scuffed or sometimes saved. Sometimes the issue is our execution. It's not necessarily the chance creation. It's individual players not doing their job, not converting the opportunities, rather than the system failing to produce those chances. So, to summarise, The Athletic seems hell-bent on joining the rest of the trash media and the red tops in creating narratives that Manchester United are bad and every other club in the country is doing better than us, has better players than us, better fans than us, better atmosphere than us, and is doing better on the pitch than us. United's attack is broken. United's defence is broken. Our players are failures. None of our players are doing well. Our players do better when they get sold. It's just not the case. The full data shows it was complete nonsense. United have been doing a lot of things right, and now we've actually won back-to-back games. Maybe the narrative will switch to someone else, but it'll only be temporary because we know Manchester United generate too many clicks and too much opinion and too many phone calls on your talk show. But I'll be honest with you, I expected better from The Athletic. You used to be the gold standard and now you just clickbait. It's a shame because you were the go-to spot. Thank you guys for watching. There is another Wibble Watch this week, so stay tuned for that. See you in the next one. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.